Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, happy Friday. Got a little late start this morning. The wheels weren't spinning on the bus the way they usually do. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. I just popped into my head.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Good morning, Bob. It's a nice Friday morning. Yes. Ready to get at our conversation of the week. So welcome everyone to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where we have a conversation around a topic, and then we provide our one thing, the one thing that we hope will help others figure out how to move forward, either today or somewhere down the line when they can use this.
Of course, we don't do that on Friday. We don't provide the one thing on Friday.
Correct. We provide the one thing that we learned from the week. So it's
our lesson, but it is a little different. If you're waiting for that one little perfect thing, it doesn't come that way on Friday.
Fair. True.
I don't want to set people up that they get to the end and they go, they never told us their one thing.
That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. So everyone,
can you all understand Tom's annoyance?
I'm not annoyed. It was a good reminder that the Friday show is a little bit different. So in many ways, although it's similar in some, in that we always start out with celebrations. So what are you celebrating today, Bob?
I am celebrating. I thought I had everything planned this morning, but that's not it. I tell you what, I'm going to celebrate the fact that I have a roof over my head, and this will become relevant shortly. That's what I'm going to celebrate. I have a place to live that keeps me free of the weather when the weather's bad, free of the wind. It was windy where I was last night, and I didn't feel it, but I could hear it whistling by all evening. How about you?
You threw me with that, so I wasn't prepared. I am celebrating that today. As I think some of you know, as you know, Bob, and maybe people who have listened, about 2 weeks ago, I went through a week-long certification process around some standards within the nonprofit space. And today I get to observe some other consultants who have done the same thing, working and providing feedback to an organization to sort of get a feel for what it's like. So I feel like it's my next step to becoming more engaged in this part of the space. And so I'm excited to have that opportunity.
Nice.
Yeah.
You were rock and rolling. You were just moving up the ladder everywhere. You're moving up the ladder there. You've moved up the ladder in your officiating.
I haven't grown.
You're starting to be the big man on campus like you were when you went to Hamilton College, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that was the case. It was not. There were many people who were taller and wider. So I was just somewhere in the middle.
Well, there you have it. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So the nation today is celebrating National Roof Over Your Head Day. This is a day to celebrate the things that you have. Rather than thinking about what you don't have, what you wish you had, it's a day to celebrate what you have. And I love that it comes in between Thanksgiving and the holidays, Christmas and all that, because we tend to focus more on commercial things now. Kids give their wish list. People talk about, I have to buy a gift for the person. And so this is a chance to count our blessings, as it were. And I love that it's something as simple as a roof over your head. And I also like the idea that, as we've talked about making wishes, it's a good reminder that there are things that we have that we don't need to wish for typically, that those are our foundation. The fact that I have a place to live and work gives me a foundation to wish for something bigger.
Okay. I like that. That's interesting. It's interesting that they chose that example as a way, as the one about to celebrate the things that you have. Interesting. Some
Well,
people don't have a roof over their house or a roof over
their head.
themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Or their roof is their car.
Sure.
I've been surprised over the last 20 or 30 years how many times I've met someone who will say, yeah, I lived in my car for a year. Like I met a guy a couple of years ago, lived in New York City over winter in his car and had a dress up, go to work every day, Wall Street kind of job. It's like, I couldn't afford it. And he managed to make that work. It's so different than the world I've lived in.
Yes, absolutely. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good day. It's a good day to celebrate what we have.
Yes, always. Every day should be a day we celebrate what we have,
Sure.
right?
Of course. And sometimes we still choose to make wishes for other things that we might desire, which has been our topic all week. And so today we're going to dive into a little bit the discoveries of the week that we had, which I think is, again, and I shared this at some point, maybe Tuesday, that when the topic came up, I was uncertain what it would look like and what the conversation would be like and what our one things would be every day. And it's interesting because I think usually when that is my thought process early on, some of the best discussions that we have. And I find that fascinating that sometimes those things that seem unclear as to why they are a conversation end up being some of the best conversations and some of the best discoveries. So I think that might have been part of my discoveries of the week. How about you?
Well, my discovery was yesterday, you said to me that I was closer to having a place to live at, to buying a place at the beach, if that's what I chose. I said that was my wish, and I gave an example, and you said, I really think you're closer to that than you realize. And I thought about that most of the day, and I was like, he's kind of right. I really am. I figured out an area that I want to be in. I figured out a way I might be able to fund it. I figured out some logistics with work. And as I was telling you before the program, Tom, I was in a establishment down here that I don't always go into. And I met a woman and her husband, and the woman said, I'm a real estate agent. And rather than slamming a card in my hand, she just, in passing, and we're talking 5-10 minutes, I'm like, hey, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I want to go back to the real estate part of this. You said you do real estate, commercial or residential? Residential, where? Oh, this area. And we had a discussion about what my vision was, what my wish was, and how that might look. And she asked, do you have money for a down payment? I said, I could if I needed to. I can go up to this amount for a down payment. She said, where do you want to be? And I gave her all the specs. And she's like, I think that there's a way to make that work. I was like, really? And then she offered to take my wife and me on a tour of places that are available in this area so we can just get more of a sense of the marketplace. Because it's one thing to drive by places and look at listings. It's another to actually go in and, I don't like the bathroom when it's two bathrooms, but they're tiny, or, I don't want, like I said, I don't want a big yard. And she's like, well, I don't know what big is. So maybe I am closer to that than I realized. Certainly, I felt that last night. And I also think having that discussion with her yesterday, it wouldn't have been the same discussion had you not said to me the whole thing about from wish to taking action, because the action step yesterday didn't feel as threatening because it was exploratory. If it had been the wish still in my head, I think it would have been, whoa, if I take this step, this means I have to buy a place. I'm committed. I'm signing the papers in the next 3 weeks.
Right. And she's going to haunt you. She's going to stalk you every day until you make a decision on where you want to buy.
And I think that's where the value is of the wish to something more real. What is it that from wish to want to will really makes sense? Because to me it was, okay, the wish is I want to have a place at the beach that I own. The want is I want to figure this out, whether it's right or wrong, because I've always had it in that dream state.
Hmm.
Now I have the ability to go out in the marketplace and look at the housing and say, you know what? Geez, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe maybe it's overpriced. Maybe it's underpriced. Maybe there isn't what I'm looking for. I don't want to pay the exorbitant homeowners fees, whatever it is. And I think that's what the correlation is in our business. You've got to start taking the steps to get where you want to go. And I think you helped me clarify yesterday that this is what I want. And then yesterday, the opportunity came up for me to actually do something along that pathway without being committed that either way, yay or nay. And I think that's the thing in business. So often I feel like when I make a business decision, it's a forever decision. Like I've consolidated 2 businesses into one finally.
Sure.
That will be done in the next couple of weeks. I picked one of the 2 company names to be the corporate name. It's not to say I couldn't switch it back in 2 years. And I really had to go through that process because, like, oh, this is a big decision. How long did I talk about it? For 1.5 years, 2 years?
At least.
But
and
then
you could decide you don't want either of them.
Right.
You want something else?
Right. And I could do that January 1st if I wanted.
Yes.
And I think that's the other thing that with wishes keep us from having to commit to actual actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that's a real lesson for me. It's like, okay, what's the actual action I'm willing or able to take at this moment? Because that will change. Who knows? 3 months from now, I may have a whole lot more money. I may have a whole lot less money. My work may take me to a different part of the country. And it's like, well, that'd be really great. Love to have a beach place in Delaware, but I'm in, Park City, Utah every week now.
Correct. And I think that's part of my discovery, I think, is that, the wish, usually when we make wishes, we don't have a whole lot of information around the actual situation or result. And so we believe that what we have wished is what would be best for us. And, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes we get in those situations and it's not what we expected. Or, as you shared, that time has passed and things have changed. What's real for you is no longer the same. And, I think that, again, one of the reasons I thought you were further along is the fact that you are now spending a lot of time down there. So you're getting to be like, all right, does it have the restaurants that I want? What's the weather going to be like in December when I'm here, for 3 months and it's kind of cold and I can't really enjoy the beach because it's too cold to be out there very long. So maybe what you're discovering is you would rather be somewhere further south or west where the temperatures are warmer and you can be out and enjoy the sun every day, or at least the beach every day. And I think that that's part of the thing that taking some action allows us to discover, that allows us to learn more about the situation and solidify that those things we wish and then decide that we want will actually be where we are going to be most happy for whatever the time frame is until the situation changes and then you're ready to do something different.
I like that. But this was a really fascinating week.
Sure, because I don't think people think about their wishes. I mean, they think about them as I wish that this was happening. I wish, and then they just keep rolling that through their head of like, almost in a way, like it's never really going to happen. But if I think about it and wish for it, maybe something will happen. And if not, I'm not that committed to it. It was just a wish. It wasn't really something that I wanted. Or we're so committed to wanting that I was actually going to do something about to try to make it actual reality. And I think that's, where we get caught with wishes, is they just sit in our head and gives us good feelings maybe at the moment, or sometimes I think it just leaves us, maybe more in despair with our own situation. That we don't.
Despair is a great word too.
Yeah, we just don't feel like we can have any impact on this happening, when in actuality there's There are some steps you can take that might, you can't determine the results. You're not in control of that necessarily. Yet by taking the steps, you'll start to learn from what results you get.
So, Tom, one of the things I've done over the last 3 days is committed to myself to share our episode each day with at least one person.
Interesting.
And it has yielded really great results. 2 people thanked me so much for thinking of them. 2 of the 3 people were people that I hadn't talked to in a little while. And I said, I don't know if this would be of interest to you, but here's a link to something I've been working on. And the discussion really sparked some thoughts in me. I thought it might do the same for you. And both of them said, I caught part of it. I didn't, one said I watched it all. The other said I listened to part of it. I just got caught up, but I really appreciate you thinking of me. That's how easy it is to share things. And I also shared it with the realtor yesterday and said, because she said, what do you do? And I said, I do some business coaching and I work with people to help them figure out how to move forward in their business pursuits or life pursuits. And she's like, wow, do you have a card? I said, I'll go one better. And I set her up so she could see this. So she might actually be watching this today, but she was really interested. And she's like, I love that you just provide this value. And so if you're someone who's trying to figure out ways to reach people, you have a customer that you haven't talked to in a while that you just want to shout out to and say, hey, I'm thinking of you, or you have a prospect that fell off the table, or you're looking to deepen that relationship, this really does work. It's an easy tool. And no one that I've talked to has ever said, how dare you send me a link to a podcast? How dare you send me a video link? I do this all the time. I mean, I used to be the guy with the newspaper. I'd clip out the article and put it in an envelope and mail it to someone and say, hey, I saw this. I thought it would be of interest to you. Now I can do a PDF of it and send it to the person. No one has ever complained to me. Always, it's like, thank you so much for thinking of me. Oh, I didn't realize that this was there. Oh, this is so helpful to me. So that's a way that you can, as a business person and as a person in general, show people that you've listened to them. If someone's been saying to you for the last 5 years that they wish they could have a place at the beach, the last 2 episodes could be really valuable. Like you could get them on a different path.
Absolutely.
And how powerful is that when you think about people buy from someone they know, they like, and they trust? One of the best ways to establish that is to do something that shows complete selflessness.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it shows that you're thinking about people and in a way that is non-threatening, hey, you got to buy this thing from me, or hey, don't forget about me. When you're thinking of whatever it is that you provide, it's just more like, hey, I was thinking about you and I thought this might be of interest. It's a cool idea. Maybe I'll have to start doing that.
Yeah.
Did you share the whole episode or did you just share bits and pieces?
I shared the whole episode. I gave a little sentence summary of why I thought it might be useful to them. Mm-hmm. We talked about this today. We talked about this. In one case, it was a person that I knew would give me a hard time, like you're just trying to self-promote. And I was like, I know I'm in this, but I think you can get past that and see the value. And he's the one who watched it all, and he sent me a note back and said, you're right. I forgot that it was you, and it was just a guy who actually knew what he was doing. So my reply back was, that's Tom Brush. I'm happy to introduce you sometime.
Yeah, thanks.
But notice that it's a very non-threatening way.
Sure.
And I think I hear all the time from people, I don't know how to react to, I don't know how to stay in touch with people. I don't know how to stay on their plate, because you may be top of mind today, but then tomorrow they get busy with life, and 3 months from now they need you. These are the types of things, sharing something you found value in and not obligating them. I don't ask people about it. I know, hey, did you watch that episode I sang? I let go. But most of the time, they'll pay attention to it just because it's like, wow, if he thought it was worth my time, If you send me something, Tom, and say, hey, I saw this online, it was really great, I'll watch it because I respect you and look for the thing that's valuable to me in it. And it also makes me think, wow, Tom's really thinking about what I'm trying to do here. This is really, wow, I didn't realize Tom paid that close attention to me. And then
Well,
when it's like, well, if you do it in that regard, boy, I wonder what it would look like if I worked with Tom on my land purchase, my, building an extension on my house, buying a car, working with my nonprofit. Those are the things that we always think that you just go in and you sell what you do. But to me, this is the area where you sell who you are.
sure. And I think it's one of those things that when you get comfortable sharing value with others, whether it's your own or someone else's, I think it eventually becomes easier to share your own value with them, whether that's your product, your service, or just yourself as a friend. Is all it is sharing value, right? Whatever service we provide is something that we believe has some value. If no one knows about it, how's it going to help? Because they might be looking for it. And I think the whole idea of starting like that with just sharing something that someone might be interested in leads to, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I feel like I have not done a great job of sharing the value that I think we have to offer. I think I do it in a broad way like this, and yet I think there are more opportunities to share it with others who I think actually could truly benefit from something else that we're doing or that I'm doing that that might make a difference. And as the person who always tells people we need to share that, then something I need to get better at.
And if you're trying to find that perfect episode for someone you don't know, you know what issue they have, go to our YouTube channel. And
Yes,
today's Antidote on YouTube, and you can see the whole litany of them for what, probably the last year by now.
oh, at least I think they're all there. Well,
And you could
now that you're
easily
some of the
pick,
other ones.
you
Thank
could
God.
pick any of the topics and just send them a link. Copy the link and send it to them. It's that easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if we all did that, imagine how much more information we would all have.
Sure. Well, and how much value we would provide to others who we might send it we might be the realtor who shows up at the bar. That information might be that person that is exactly what they are looking for and haven't been able to find.
Yep.
And so I think that's, that was where the whole Go Giver thing always started for me. It was an opportunity to share with others. So maybe we can keep doing that, especially at this time of year when people are sharing a lot.
And if you do share, love to hear, put in the comments, what you actually shared, how you shared it, so we can all learn from each other. I sent the email to my 3 closest friends about this, or whatever it is, so other people can learn, and you'll also inspire other people to take the chance, to take the risk.
Yeah.
It becomes much easier when we go, wow, oh, wow, someone else did it. I'm not
Right.
going to be the only one who does this crazy thing.
I like that. Well, this has been an interesting discussion that went even beyond our discoveries of the week, and I think which led to other discoveries of the week. So thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have a discovery that you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. Or you can come to our Facebook group, The Ring of Renegades, and share it there. That's easy to do.
I just asked, Tom, when you said that, if you have a discovery you'd like to share, do you think way back in 1692, Christopher Columbus was like, hey guys, got a little thing I need to share? Found this place across the ocean.
Well, clearly he did, because others seem to follow.
What do you think was their chat function that they had? I mean, it was kind of slow, right? You had to write a letter,
Put it on a ship.
put it
send
on a
back.
ship, send it, hope that the ship didn't crash on the way.
The delivery services were not as efficient as they are today.
No drones back then. It was just when you said, if you have a discovery, and I'm just thinking, well, Christopher Columbus had a big discovery. It would be so much easier. Hey, found a new country out there. You put it in the chat.
The word would get out a lot quicker. There's no doubt about that.
Probably was the discovery of the week for a lot of people.
Might have been the discovery of the month, given how slow it probably took to get the word out.
Sorry, it just popped into my head.
Thanks for sharing. Someone would find value in that.
The Chris Columbus fans out there.
Yeah, which I don't think there are many left anymore. So
no, not anymore. I'm not even sure you can talk about them, can you?
Well, that's why I was sort of surprised as you brought it up. And that's okay. It was what was real for you in the moment. So that's all right. That's what you were sharing.
I'm not making a political statement. I was working merely for comedic value.
Fair enough. That's kind of like saying, see what I did there? Just saying. All right, everyone. So let's time to wrap up this week, I believe.
Indeed.
So, please join us inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. So we hope that we will see you there. And if not, we will see you on Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegade in you.
And
hey, celebrate if you have a roof over your head.
Or something else.
Yeah.
Maybe the car roof. All right, everyone. Take care. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.